to work. Not yet. Thank you, Notando. Okay. Thank you. Okay, can you see this over here? This lecture note, these lecture notes, HIMM 432/1 _1. I'm assuming not. Let me just see if the sharing has worked. No, it doesn't look like it has. Okay. All right, guys, it looks to be sharing now. Can you see this over here? HIMM 432_1 integrated media management. Please let me know if you can. It does seem to be saying that it is sharing now, but it's not recording. You can see it. Thank you so much. Let's see if it's recording. Oh, no, it is recording as well. Okay, great. All right, now that we have the technical issues out of the way. All right, guys, the assignment, remember, you get 4 assignments this year. There are 3 formative assessments and 1 summative assessments. Okay, so the formative assessments are the first 3. They count 20% each. And then your summative assessment, which is the equivalent of your exam, although it's not an exam, it's an assignment, okay, counts 40%. Guys, I just want to stress again at the beginning of the lecture, please be very, very, very wary of using plagiarism in your assignments. As I said to you guys last week, please note that at 4th year level, plagiarism, if there's any form of plagiarism, you get 0%. And if you only have 4 assignments to submit for the year, if you get 0 for one of them, you risk failing the year, which means you risk not getting your degree, which is a tragedy. So please remember as well, plagiarism is not just getting somebody else to do the work for you. It's also cutting and pasting. It's also not paraphrasing the words or paraphrasing the words in your own words, unless you put them in inverted commas and specifically quote and say this is a quote, and where you don't acknowledge the source. So those are all very important. So I'm going to go through with you today what's going to be expected. Okay, so this is not really important last time on the show, Days of Our Lives, because we haven't done this yet. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the assignment. Okay, so I hope you guys can all see. The assignment, guys, this is the structure of the assignment, consists of 2 sections, A and B. Section A, the assignment's out of 100 marks. Section A is 55 marks. Section B is 80 marks. And the last 20 marks then are for technical, which are purely marks for JAM. If you get all your technical right, okay, there's no reason why you can't get a distinction for technical, the sort of 16 out of 20, 15 out of 20, which gives you 15 extra marks. Okay. All right, guys, so section A, is 2 questions. You get the first question, which is 15 marks, and then the second question has 2 parts of 20 marks each, which is 40 marks. And then B is 1 question of 25 marks. Okay, so just let me go through that again. 2 sections, A and B. Section A is 55 marks. It has 3 questions. The first question is 15 marks, and then the second question has 2 parts to it, which are 20 marks each. That gives you 40 marks plus 15 is 55 marks. And section B is a question of 25 marks. Okay. Question A1 is about social responsibility. Question A2 is about a campaign and media management. And question B is about integration. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. You guys all seem to be fine. Chat, I think this is probably Notando or Dennis, just confirming. Let me just check. I don't see anything else, but this is very slow. I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can all see me. Okay, cool. All right, guys. All right, so let's move along then. Okay, guys, the structure of the assignment, moving along. Question A1 is about the British royal family and their corporate social responsibility and brand authenticity. So social responsibility and regulation. This is for 15 marks. Question A2 is about the ANC, putting together a media campaign for them, suggesting media, and doing a PESTLE analysis, which is a media plan and your PESTLE analysis, that's for 40 marks. And then question B is about, sorry, yes, question B is about integrating old and new media. So for mass communication versus personalization, and that's for 20 marks, 25 marks, and then your technical is 20 marks. Okay, so that is the structure of your assignment. Guys, please note this is really, 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 really important. Now, please forgive me if the assignment that is up on the system, I have checked it and double checked it, okay, but just if there is a difference and a discrepancy, I apologize for that in advance. This is what I require from you. So if I'll check the sheets again. If the sheet says something different, because I think the sheet might actually say 10 sources, okay? But I'm letting you know that I require 15 sources. And I apologize for that if there is a discrepancy over there. That is because there was, that was the standard of the previous lecturer, who is very, very good. But I just wanted to take it higher. You see it. Okay, cool. Thank you. All good on your end. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Cool. Okay, I'm admitting Vuyo as well now. So hopefully he comes through. Okay, so guys, to let you know again, gosh, I hope you can hear me now. All right, so guys, the assignment must include the following, please. You have to make use of at least 15 sources, excluding your textbooks. Okay, so you have 2 textbooks, the Duze one and the Kung one. You have to use those as well. Okay, so 15 sources, excluding your textbook, and this is the issue. The brief might say 10 sources because those are 10 academic sources. I'm looking for an additional 5 sources. Okay, so 10 of the sources must be academic, i.e. journal articles and books. Okay, so I don't know, I'm sure most of you don't have access to the library at Boston. Maybe you do. But then what you have to do is go into Google Scholar or go into Google Books or go and see what you can find on, what papers, what academic papers are available to you that you don't need to pay for. So I'm not asking you to go and spend, 2,000 Rand extra to go and get the best academic sources. You'd be amazed at what you can find, okay, obviously for free, and then also in the Boston library. Okay, so 10 of the sources must be academic, guys, and I'm going to go through the paper with you and show you what I'm requiring, okay, to let you know. So journal articles and or books, you have to use both textbooks in the answers for all your questions. So all 3 answers must have reference to both textbooks, your Duze and your Kung. Okay, guys, no Wikipedia. Wikipedia cut and paste is very, very, very bad. Now let me give you a little piece of advice. Okay, when I was busy with my master's many moons ago, my lecturer said to me, oh, Wikipedia is a fantastic source. Obviously, you can't use it. What you can do, and I'm sure most of you have done this, is, okay, somebody sent me a message. What's happening? All good. Vuyo is, Vuyo, okay, Vuyo's Matsidiso's now. Shame, I don't think Vuyo's able to access it. Pity. Okay. All right, so Matsidiso, welcome. Welcome, Matsidiso. I think you're new. All right, okay, and hopefully Vuyo can come back. Shame. Okay, all right. Guys, welcome. I like this very full class. Let me quickly take another thingy. Okay, so Matsidiso's here, Onalena's here. I'm just taking roll call at the same time. Boston insists that I keep a record of who's at the lectures, obviously. Okay, cool. All right, guys, so getting back to what I was saying earlier on. All right. Wikipedia. So you can't use Wikipedia as a source. What you can do is go to Wikipedia's references at the bottom, okay, and you can go and find the information that you're looking for over there, all right, and then you can use that as a source. But please note, I will check all your sources. So if I see you using a source and I'll go check Wikipedia and see if you use the Wikipedia source, then I will go check their source. And if I see that you cut and paste straight out of Wikipedia, you're going to get 0. So guys, please be very, very, very careful. I love to check sources. If you tell me, okay, Bernardi and Pochenpoel wrote this book, okay, I will go look for the book. I will go research it and all the rest of it. So guys, it's not in your best interest. Remember, it's not fair on industry and it's not fair on Boston if we give you a qualification that you didn't actually earn. Okay, so I studied through UNISA. UNISA is constantly moaning at students about, guys, you bring down the integrity of the university by, cheating in your exams and that kind of thing. So it's not fair on other students who've done the work. It's not fair on industry. And I certainly don't want a graduate from Boston going into industry and they say, oh my glory, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. How on earth did they ever give him a degree? Okay, not on my watch. You guys need to have earned the degree, and I'm here to help you. I will bend over backwards to help you. I've had wonderful students at Vega and at Varsity College, and I've lectured part-time at WITS and UNISA, or for UNISA, and at UJ, etc., etc., etc. So I'm always very happy to help students. But you've really and truly got, if you do the work, I would love to give you a good mark. I really and truly would. Nothing would make me happier. Okay, so guys, no Wikipedia. You may use 5 other sources. Okay, so you can use a YouTube. You just can't use 15 YouTube sources, but you can use YouTube. You have to make sure that you credit it properly. Okay, so you must use the correct Harvard referencing method to source and to quote a YouTube video. You can use popular articles. Obviously, you're studying media, so you have to know what Daily Maverick is saying. You have to know what the SABC is saying. You have to know what what the Sowetan is saying. All those kinds of things. Question. Let me see. Matshidiso is no longer. Okay, shame. Matshidiso is battling too. Okay, she's back. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so guys, you may use 5 other sources. So your assignment will thus have a minimum of 17 sources. Okay, guys, it's a lot, but you have until the April, okay, which is not a lot of time. You have 8 weeks. It's not a lot of time. Don't leave this until the Saturday when the assignment is due. Also, don't leave your submissions until the Saturday. You have between Monday and Saturday, or Sunday and Saturday, the following Saturday, to do your submissions. Do your submission in the first 3 days. Also, but I won't do this in the 2 weeks before the assignment is due. Okay, so from the middle of April onwards, I won't do this. Okay, if you want to send me your assignment and I can have it, I can look at it for you, you're most welcome to do that. I will then advise you and say to you, this is missing. I've even had students approach me privately. I'm a student who was at the Institute of Marketing Management, the IMM, doing her honors, and she asked me to please help her to do better. So I said to her, Sam, this is what you need. And I'm very, very happy and bragging to let you know that she passed both of her subjects with distinction because I advised her. So I'm wanting to help you. I'm here for you. You are the guys, are the reason why I have a job, for which I'm very grateful, and I thank you so much. Okay, so what? Sorry, Matshidiso. I see you struggling with network, no problem. Join when you can and do as much as you can. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I have the same problem. My network is terrible. Okay, but thank you so much, Matshidiso. I hope that you can join us. Okay, so guys, I am here for you. You're the reason why I have this lovely, lovely job, and I want you to know that I'm here to help you. Okay, cool. All right, so guys, now, if you want to get a distinction, here is the horribleness of it all. Okay, if you want to get a distinction, guys, which is 75% plus, okay, your assignment must include the following. You have to make use of at least 30 sources. So it's 15 sources more than a normal assignment. So if you want to mark between 50 and 74, then you can do the, if you want 75 and above, you need to use 30 sources, excluding your textbooks. 20 of these sources must be academic. Remember, guys, this NQF8 is the equivalent of an honors. Okay, so it's not like a normal 3-year degree, it's a 4-year degree. You can go straight out of this degree into masters. Okay, so the standard needs to be there. I don't want there, if some of you guys have said to me you want to study masters, I don't want there to be this huge jump between honors and masters, which there will be anyway, because it's very, very big leap. But you should at least have a basic understanding of what's going to be expected of you at master's level. Some of you might say, Rob, I don't care about masters, I just want my degree. That's also fine. In most instances, you won't need a master's in the workplace. You'll only need it if you want to become an academic. Okay, but you still need to be able to. This, guys, will help you become a smarty pants. I have seen it with my own 2 eyes, experienced with my own brain. The more information you assimilate and take in, even though you feel like you're having a stroke, you will come out on the other side and think, oh my goodness, I know a lot more than I used to. And it just becomes very, very, very clear how much you've managed to achieve in this time. Okay, so 30 sources, excluding your textbooks. 20 of these must be academics, in other words, journal articles and or textbooks. You have to use both textbooks and answers for all your questions. Again, no Wikipedia. You may use 10 other sources, YouTube popular articles. So your assignment will thus have a minimum of 32 sources. Guys, I will count. I will count. I will check. Okay, if you want your distinction, I will say, I love you. You are a brilliant student. Your work is phenomenal, but you only use 29 sources. I'm not giving you a distinction. You'll get 74. Okay, if you want your distinction, you've got to give me what I'm asking for, and it's for your own good. So only because I care. So think of it as tough love. Okay, hugs and kisses. Okay, right, guys, let's move on. All right, so remember what is required at NQF 8. So NQF 5, 6, and 7 is the most undergrad degrees. NQF 8 is honors. NQF 9 is masters, and NQF 10 is PhD. So this is what is required in terms of the South African Qualifications Authority and the Higher Education Qualifications Framework. I think it's called HEQF. Okay, this is what you need to be able to do to prove that you have the cognitive skills of an NQF 8 person. You need to be able to integrate your sources. There needs to be synthesis of sources. There needs to be application. There needs to be analysis. There needs to be linking and logical progression and flow. There needs to be cohesion. There need to be conclusions, new thinking, suggestions, and recommendations. Now you might say, oh my gosh, Rob, what does this mean? Source integration, guys. Source A plus source B plus source C all say this. Synthesis. Source A and B and C say this, and this is an overview of what that actually means. How does this apply? For example, this applies to this in this case. Analysis, what are the deficiencies? They are doing this, but this is where I see there is, or this is where there is a shortfall. Generally, guys, please don't use I or we. Stick it to it as academic. So it needs to be he, she, they. It needs to be an academic. So we don't use first and second person sources. I won't penalize you if you do. If you really feel like you want to personalize it because it's a personal thing, I won't penalize you if you do. But if you don't, I will be suitably impressed. And if you do, you can still get your distinction. If it's really, really good. What I'm looking for, guys, I want to read your assignment and be blown away. I want to learn something new and say, gosh, I never thought about it like that. Wow, that's very interesting. Wow, that's so informative. That is such an intelligent angle. That's so creative. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so analysis, linking, A, but then B says this, which links back to A, but then C says this, which disputes A. So there's a logical progression and a flow. Guys, very, 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 very important. Read your assignment before you submit it. Go back and edit it yourself. If you don't read the assignment, it's going to read badly. Go back and read it. If it doesn't make sense to you, it's not going to make sense to me. Also, what you need to do is, after a long, hard day of working on it, you need to put it away, go have a glass of wine, go watch some TV, have a pizza, and go to bed, and then come back to it the next day and look at it with fresh eyes and a fresh mind. Otherwise, you will just get the same thing. Okay, which that means you shouldn't start your assignment 2 days before it's due. Guys, at fourth year level, if you're starting your assignment 2 days before it's due, it's really going to be a rush. You're going to put yourself in a huge amount of pressure, and you'll be shooting yourself in the foot because it won't be as good as you think it could be. And I know that at fourth year, guys, you love to do assignments because you love the craft. You love your subject. You are studying because you really, truly want to make a difference in industry. Okay, so that's important. Your logical progression and flow, that will come from when you read it. Cohesion, it must read as one document, the whole thing. And that's why you can tell when it's not somebody's work. If the tone is different and whatever it is, you might say, well, Rob, let's see if we can prove you wrong. Cool, let's see. And if you come to me after you've passed and I've given you a distinction, you said, oh, Rob, it was all done by my mates. Well, there's nothing I can do then. Okay, but anyway, but I hope that you won't do that. Okay, conclusions, new thinking, suggestions, and recommendations. Okay, so you need to be able to, and the assignment is set up as such. Okay, remember, guys, if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me, and you're welcome to ask me in the class. Okay, I hope you can all still hear me. All right, guys, so these are your questions. Question A1, social responsibility. This is for 15 marks. Okay, so this is an article in the Mail Online. We're not going to read the article. We're just going to look over here. It says, is King's 250, now it's gone all fuzzy, sorry about that. So there we go. Is King's 250 million pound green giveaway a bid to boost Royal's popularity amid Harry memoir storm? Experts say Charles's gift of wind farm profits to help hard-pressed families draws line under Rao and shows monarchy's bargain value. Okay, so guys, what they're saying in this article is they're saying that King Charles has gifted this 250 million pounds, okay, as a giveaway to increase, you can see wind farm profits, okay, to help people overcome, you know, this negative perception of the royal family brand from Meghan and, you know, Harry. So I'm not going to go into detail with you on that. Let's look at the question, though. Okay, so with reference to the above screenshot, please read the following article. And I don't want to give the whole thing away to you, but let's just move on over here. Okay, the British royal family is arguably the strongest monarchy brand in the world. However, they are often mired in scandal or controversy, which affects their brand likability. From Prince Andrew's scandal with Jeffrey Epstein to the Queen, who in 1997 was accused of being more cut up about the decommissioning of the Royal Yacht Britannia than she was about the death of Princess Diana. Harry and Meghan's media onslaught, itself being criticized as an exercise in milking the royal brand for profit, is another case in point. With reference to the above article, write an essay where you critically analyze social responsibility and the extent to which it is a genuinely altruistic exercise brought about by an authentic sense of caring, or whether it is simply smart management of publicity and public relations for the purpose of brand building. Now, guys, it says here not longer than 2 pages, and it also says over there, please note, if you have on your heart 3 pages, please don't make it 50, but if you have on your heart 3 or 4 pages, I do not penalize if you go over the page allocation. Okay, because if you have something to say, I like writing and I like speaking. Okay, so if you have something to say and it's really, if it's waffle, I'd be like, okay, this is all waffle. But if you have a point to make and you go over 2 pages, I had one of the students who was with IMM, she was tearing her hair out the whole time because they put limitations on this thing over there. I personally, it doesn't bother me. So if you go over 2 pages, despite what the marking rubric says, I will not mark you down. Okay, the marking rubric has been put together by Boston, and it is a requirement, but I am the lecturer here. I'm not going to mark you down if you go over the page thing. If you give me less than 2 pages, I'll be like, okay. If you give me, if it's too short, guys, it needs to be long enough. I'm not saying it has to be 500 pages, but it needs to be long enough. Okay, so not too short, not too long. Remember, you need at least 17 sources, so it's a lot. All right, okay. Please use the social responsibility and publicity management covered in class to support your argument. We haven't been through that yet. I'm hoping to get through it. Obviously, by the time your assignment rolls around, we will have been through it. Okay. Include in your discussion the importance of authenticity in building and managing brands. Use examples other news, and one other theory to substantiate your assertion. So, guys, you can choose a theory. Okay, look in your textbook, your 2 textbooks, and see what they say, but then use another theory that you find in one of your articles, okay, to substantiate your assertions. Okay, are there any, I'm going to go through the assignment with you now. So, okay, here's the guideline to question 1. So I think we've basically, I think you guys are going to say, please feel free to jump in if you have a question. All right, so guys, guidelines for question A1, you will need to go and read up about brand authenticity and include this in your discussion. I've done a little bit with it, on it with you in an upcoming class, okay, which we might get through today. I'm hoping we get through it today because we've got a lot of work to cover, okay, but you're also going to need to read up more about brand authenticity. Okay, you need to try and find 2 opposing views of corporate social investment or corporate social responsibility. One which shows that it is essential for the brand, and one which suggests that it is pure showboating. So guys, you can argue, and I have my own. I think personally, from my perspective, okay, I think the royal family is trying really hard to maintain the stance of the Queen. I think Charles has his own views, okay, but he's obviously been told by his advisors to tone it down. I think William and Kate are trying really, really hard to not be the mistake that their parents were. Okay, so Kate's trying really hard not to be Diana, and William's trying really hard not to be Charles before Camilla. Okay, so in that over there, now you can say, yeah, but you know, actually they're all evil, and they, you know, because of colonialism, they have lots and lots of, they stole the Star of Africa diamond, the Cullinan diamond, and the Kohinoor. Okay, if that's how you feel, then put that into your assignment and argue the pros and cons of that, and justify that's what you think. And then if you justify it and you've given me good academic arguments, even if I disagree with you, I can't fail you because it's an opinion that's been substantiated by academic sources. Okay, if that's how you feel, you may feel very strongly about you know about the UK and about the abysmal track record and what's happened in terms of colonialism, which is fine. You know, it's an important narrative in 2023, very important. You know, there needs to be accountability. You can bring in the Commonwealth. I mean, this is a fabulous question. There's so much you can bring in. Okay. So guys, I'm not all that concerned about page limitations. If your essay needs to be longer than the pages allowed, you will not be penalized. And guys, this applies to all of my assignments for this year. So when I am your lecturer, if you go over the page allotment, I'm not going to mark you down. If you can give me a convincing argument, and it's really good. And if it's a short convincing argument, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Okay, but if it is a long convincing argument, that's also fine by me. So I'm looking for honors level, NQF 8 level stuff. All right. Okay. So guys, in terms of Harry and Meghan, I think they're pure showboating. They're just doing it for the money. The $100 million from Netflix, the $20 million got paid in advance for his book, etc. And I think it's backfired, and I think it's playing out really badly for them in the media. And I think the whole thing about William having an affair on Kate, I think that's all just media speculation. I hope it's not true. But if it is, I didn't see Kate running off like Diana. And nothing wrong with Diana. She was an amazing woman. Okay, running off like Diana and losing her marble. She's just going to stick with William. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name for a minute. So guys, I just think if you want to go watch an episode of The Crown and quote this in your assignment, that's fine by me. Okay, then you can just reference it properly. So that's obviously on Netflix. You might say, well, Rob, what's that going to do? There's old Charles and Camilla stuff. There's obviously not very much Harry and Meghan. Like, but there's old Charles and Camilla stuff there. There's old Queen stuff there, etc. So that would be interesting if you want to reference. Go watch an episode. Hang out with your boo over the weekend and say, listen, honey, I need to watch some of The Crown. It's one of my assignments, and they'll be very impressed. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so guys, here is an example of part of a good answer. So I'm just giving you a feel for what it is that I'm looking for. Okay, this is all made up. You can't use this in any way. These sources aren't real. I just made this all up, okay, just to give you a feel of what I'm looking for. Okay, so here we go, part of a good answer. Pochenpoel et al., and you can see I've put in the year, and so this Harvard referencing, 2022, 5970, it's a book, state that corporate social responsibility, CSR, is the only way that a contemporary brand can cut through the noise and clutter of modern marketing because people have such limited attention spans. And you could elaborate on that and say, for example, look at TikTok, look at YouTube Shorts, etc., etc., etc. This is a view. Now you can see now we're integrating and we are backing up with extra sources. So it's not just one source, guys. If you have a paragraph, I've used 4 sources here: Pochenpoel et al., Carter and Dixie, Khumalo, and Liguala. Okay, there are 4 sources in one paragraph. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, this is a view that is shared by Carter and Dixie, 2018. So because it doesn't have a page reference, it's probably an online article, who state that CSR is akin to publicity and public relations in that it suffers none of the credibility issues of advertising, as well as the opinion of Khumalo, 2023, probably also some online thing because there's no page reference, who believes that the problem with advertising is that people do not trust it. While they do have a tendency to trust CSR, which is framed in a PR setting. Okay, so there you've got people who agree with Pochenpoel et al. And they add. But now you have the opposing view. So I can see, aha, you've done some work and you're now giving the opposite. By contrast, Liguala, 2015, 337, so this is a book, believes that once a company or brand has shown itself to be insincere just once in a public setting, people tend to not believe any brand messages going forward. He thus differs from the authors above by suggesting that CSR is not a viable solution for creating awareness, i.e. cutting through the noise of crowded market spaces. Okay, so now we've had this thought, we've set a bit of a scene, we said that corporate social responsibility is the only way you can get a message through to people because people don't pay attention to advertising and they don't trust advertising. Okay, but then the opposing view is that people don't pay attention to corporate social responsibility either because they don't believe it is sincere. Okay, in light of the above, so now we give application. In light of the above, it is apparent that the British royal family as a brand have a perception problem, and now you give a source to back up what you're saying. So you're making a statement, now you're backing it up with the source to prove your point. As pointed out by Faraday, this is a newspaper article in the Daily Mail, he states that we really don't believe Charles when he says he cares about the environment. What he cares about is that his servants pick up his socks at night. Okay, so that's what thingy. So there's a brand perception problem. Kekana. So now we're going back to this is a new source. Okay, guys, you can read sources. Okay, but Kekana, this is now also a new source, 2023, probably online, concurs by stating that the death of the Queen has seen a decline in support for the royal family, which has not been helped by the negative sentiment created around the release of Prince Harry's book Spare, and the furor around the release of Harry and Meghan's Netflix series. Okay, guys, you can even go and watch the Netflix series and you can quote from it if you want to. If you want to do that, I would be very impressed. Okay, wow, out of the box thinking, I went and looked at Netflix and I saw something there and quote directly, something that Harry and Meghan said that's very damning, that proves your point. Okay, you can use any sources as long as you still have your academic sources as well. Okay, the consequence of this negative publicity is that the royal family's attempts to be genuinely altruistic, assuming those are their true intentions, are not being viewed as being authentic, which does not augur well for effective branding. This is because authenticity is one of the core tenets of good brand architecture, as highlighted by Branson, 1999, more than 20 years ago already. This argument is given credence by Peters, probably a book, 2019 verses, listen to me, pages 1 to 14, who notes that there are simply too many branding choices in the world to believe the ones which are not being true to themselves. Okay, so guys, I hope this gives you a really good overview of the way you need to structure it. So what you need to do is, let's quickly go back to the question. Let me see if there's any questions. You guys are all very quiet. So either you're glued to your screens, or you're busy chatting with friends and you're having lunch, or this recording's not happening, okay, and I'm talking, but I hope you guys are all there. Okay, so let's just quickly go back and have a look then at the question. Write an essay where you critically analyze social responsibility and the extent to which it is a genuinely altruistic exercise brought about by an authentic sense of caring, or whether it is simply smart management of publicity and public relations for the purpose of brand building. And the truth is that it's probably a little bit of both, okay, in the case of most brands. Okay, so there we go. You need to critically analyze it and then decide, you know, what it is, and especially in regard. And guys, if your conclusion is the royal family is full of nonsense and they have no right to exist, let's abolish the monarchy and turn England or Britain into a republic, then that's fine. If you want to take, if your narrative and your agenda that you want to set is colonialism is pure evil and we need to redress the imbalance of the past, that's fine. I have no problem with that. There are no right or wrong answers, guys. As long as you can justify what you're saying, you can say whatever it is that you like. Obviously, as long as it's not hate speech, but it wouldn't be because you're not going to be wearing, you know, or using words that are filled with hate speech. But you can say whatever you want to. You can take anything. You can take a Christian standpoint if you like and just justify it. You can take a non-Christian standpoint. You can take an Islamic standpoint. Whatever you want to do. That is what's going to make it so interesting to read your assignments, is that you can tell me, show me a bit of your thinking, and then I can see that you understand the stuff. And then when a company asks you to do this, you can go into industry and you can produce a piece of work that say, this guy's worth the money that we paid him or her. Okay, and we're paying women the same amount as we're paying men. Okay, so this woman is worth her money. She's worth her weight in gold. She's damn good. Okay. I'm thinking of the woman who put together, I don't want to promote brands or promote her, the woman who put together the campaign for Gautrain when it first launched. She had a BTEC and then she went on and did her honors, I think her master's and then her PhD, Barbara Jensen. She put together such a good campaign. It was all very well branded. And even to this day, you can see Gautrain's colors are gold and that navy blue. It's a very, very nice combination. Obviously the gold in reference to Gauta, which is obviously the Sotho name for the gold, Goud from the Afrikaans, Gauteng, all well put together. And then, of course, all the brand for people on the move, which has got the double entendre. And, of course, all the stuff they rolled out around there, which is still so very, very well done. Okay, that's an example of a very good brand. And it's world-class, guys. I've traveled on the subway in New York. I'm sure some of you have. I've been on the London Underground. I've been on the Bangkok metro system, Kuala Lumpur's metro system, Singapore's metro system. Where else? London, New York, Los Angeles. And I can honestly say to you, Gautrain, which is Joburg's metro, and by extension Pretoria, which is like a suburb of Joburg these days, is world class. It's really, really good. Okay, so you guys, when you go into industry, that's the kind of person I want to create. I want people to say, that person that comes from Boston, gosh, and it's also a very good reflection on the institution. People say, Boston produces really good graduates. You've got to hire, if they're from Boston, they've got a really good reputation. That's my aim. Okay, so I hope that all helps you. Let me see if there's any questions. I don't see so. I don't hear my thingy going boimp. Okay, I see Vuyo's back. Very, very good. Nice. Vuyo, welcome to class. Okay, I've got a nice, good turnout today, which is really awesome. Fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students. Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, guys, this is whenever I do the assignment briefs, these are the most important classes. So if you're gonna bunk the other classes, you know, I know you've got a life, okay, and that's your prerogative. Yeah, I'm not condoning it, but if you are, make sure you at least attend the briefings for the assignments. You know what's going on, what I'm expecting from you. Okay, question A2. So this is now the second part. A1 was obviously the royal family. Question A2 was your media plan and your PESEL analysis. Okay, so ANC needs to get its affairs and orders, COSATU's Losi says. Okay, so you can see over here, speaking at the ANC's 11th birthday celebration in the Free State on Sunday, 8 January, Labour Federation COSATU's leader, Zingiswa Losi, urged President Cyril Ramaphosa to uproot factionalism within the party and provide a solution to end ongoing rolling blackouts. Okay. Right, so guys, please read this following article in order to contextualize the background for this question. Let's go read the article. And guys, you should quote the article in your assignment. Okay, so you should also quote the article in the assignment. Refer back to, so the source over here will be, what's her name? Nyati, Mandisa Nyati. So Nyati 2023 stipulates that you should quote the source. Then I can see that you've also looked at it and you've integrated it into your assignment. Okay. Here we go. This is the question. You worked hard to complete your BBA degree, and you now run a boutique marketing agency that is chugging along. You almost fall off your chair when you receive a call from the ruling party, the African National Congress. You've just hit the big league. The ANC is concerned about their market share attrition, which has seen them drop from an all-time high of almost 70% in the national elections in 2004, down to under 48% in the local elections in 2021. There is a real possibility that they will not receive an outright majority in the upcoming 2024 national elections, and that they want to get a head start in convincing voters to head off to the polls next year to shore up support. Getting anything less than 50% is not only damaging to their brand, but also makes coalition government inevitable. Ruling by coalition is difficult and means that the country's biggest political legacy, brand, could have its efforts thwarted by parties to the left, the EFF, and parties to the right, the DA. The ANC is aware that younger voters, millennials and Gen Z, or Gen Z if you're American, have far less brand loyalty, in inverted commas. We're going to discuss that maybe today, and are products of a more globalized society. They also suspect that the emerged black middle class will not necessarily vote for them, and they know that the older generation who are more brand loyal, in inverted commas, will simply stay away from the polls in the absence of better choices. Okay, so here is question 8 to continue. Your agency is tasked with the following. 1, convince people to get to the polls and vote for the ANC. Guys, maybe you love the ANC and you ANC forever. Fabulous. This will be an easier assignment for you. Now, I had a student last week who said, oh, Rob, I don't vote for the ANC. I'm like, darling, this is all the more reason why this is a challenging assignment. So if you don't vote for the ANC, maybe you don't vote, maybe you do, maybe you vote for somebody else. It doesn't matter. Okay, it may be then more difficult for you. Convince me that you are, because the ANC doesn't care whether you'd vote for them or not. They're just hiring you to do the job. Okay, so whatever your political affiliations, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Convince me that you're the right person for the job, that I should hire your company. You've already got the job. Okay. Number 2, remind people that the ANC is the party of liberation and brought South Africa into the democratic era. 3, appeal to born frees that their liberties were hard won by their parents and grandparents, and that they should keep that in mind when voting. 4, appeal to the Model C, in inverted commas, crowd and the black emerged middle class that voting for the ruling party is still a patriotic duty. 5, try to make inroads into the DA's considerable majority in the Western Cape. 6, deal with the threat of fragmented support in the country's economic heartland of Gauteng, where the ANC faces the real threat of a major loss of votes. 7, counter regional threats from other parties in other provinces, the IFP in KwaZulu-Natal, the EFF in Limpopo, and smaller parties making inroads in urban areas, such as Action SA, Patriotic Alliance, and so forth. 8, make suggestions as to which other markets the ANC should be focusing on in terms of voters. 9, create a positioning statement for the political brand that can also be used as a catch-all slogan for the election campaign. Okay, so guys, within the context of that, you need to develop a media plan that will inform and educate the target markets about this political brand, advise clients on what you think those target markets should be. Okay, so guys, you can have a look at this whole thing over here and say, I don't believe the ANC should target millennials or Generation Z. They should go for the older voters. Okay, the older voters are not the gogos. They are not going to fiddle with TikTok. So a TikTok campaign is a waste of time. Don't even bother with TikTok. Do street poll adverts and do billboards and do something in the Daily Sun. Okay, do adverts in the Daily Sun. You need to advise me. That's your job. You're the media manager, and you need to integrate your media and you need to explain to me what it is and why you've made those decisions. Okay, so guys, it's a huge assignment. I know it is. Don't leave it until the day before. You're going to really be in trouble. Okay, and I'd like to see you guys sink your teeth into this. This, for me, is the best part of the assignment because it really gives you the opportunity to show me what you can do on an existing brand. Okay, so continued. So the section, question A2, the first section, which is for 20 marks. So question A2.1, for each of these target markets, indicate what media platforms you will utilize and why. So guys, I've just given you an example. If you turn around and say to me, listen, the older voters are not going to vote because they're disillusioned with the ANC, they don't vote. So you've wasted your time. Go and focus on the emerged black middle class. Okay, well, what is the emerged black middle class? You guys are the emerged black middle class. Some of you, I think you, most of you are. Okay, what media do you consume? What things do? You live in Sandton, or you live in, whatever it is. You no longer necessarily live in what used to be a township, in inverted commas, and maybe you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but maybe you now live in Sandton or in Randburg or in Midrand, whatever it is. You are the emerged black middle class. What media do you consume? So go and tell me what media you suggest I do to try and convince you to vote for the ANC. Okay. Also indicate how you will communicate the core message on these platforms for each of your target markets, i.e., what is your creative angle, idea? So tie this back to your positioning statement as indicated above. How will you make sure that this message reaches your target market? This is for 20 marks. Guys, you can present your media in plan and table form. It doesn't have to be in table form. Okay, if you put it in table form, that's great. It doesn't have to be in table form. If you explain it to me in a Word document and it's literally just bullet points and you say, this is what it's fine. As long as it makes sense to me and I can understand it and I can see your vision for what you intend to do to help the brand, that's fine. Okay, if you're battling with, oh God, Rob, I don't do tables, I don't know how to use Excel. Maybe you do. Maybe you can use a spreadsheet like a boss, which is fine. Okay, but if you can't, don't freak out about it. It's the content that I'm interested in. Okay, that's what. But you have to obviously do it. But just yeah. Okay, question 2.2. Complete a person analysis. Okay, so guys, we discussed this in a lot of detail last week. Political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental for the ANC. Focusing on the 2024 national elections. Your analysis should include the following hot button topics, but you may include others that you feel are relevant. Guys, I can tell you right now, the whole thing with Andre de Ruyter and what he said about thingy, and the furor as well, and the uproar and the brouhaha about how he's damaged the ANC brand is cannon fodder for you guys for your assignment. I'm not saying you have to include it. You might say, well, Rob, I don't think wearing black hats is an issue. Fine, justify it then. If you leave it out, I won't necessarily penalize you for it if you don't think it's relevant. Okay, most people probably disagree with you. But remember, guys, it's your assignment. What I'm looking for is a convincing argument. Okay, if that doesn't include rolling blackouts, well, then justify it. Okay, so Eskom and the issue with ongoing rolling blackouts, taxpayer-funded bailouts of SOE, state-owned enterprises such as Eskom, SAA, Transnet, PRASA, and so forth, state capture and corruption, inflation, petrol price hikes, the skyrocketing cost of food, and the general cost of living crisis. Number 5, slow economic growth post-COVID. 6, South Africa's automatic alignment through BRICS with Russia, and the perceptive impact this has on both the ANC and South Africa brands in the context of the war in Ukraine. Substantiate your analysis using researched facts and sources. Okay, so guys, this is also really, really big. So for example, maybe you feel, I don't care about Ukraine. I'm more concerned about what's happening in Syria and Turkey. I'm more concerned about what's happening locally, what's happening in Africa. Fine. You don't have to necessarily be, there are some people in South Africa who feel the South African government aligned, with the Chinese and the Russians is really, really bad for the brand. And so much so that the Americans are now saying, why are you conducting, military drills and military exercises off your coast with the Chinese and the Russians? This does not augur well for your relationship with the United States. Okay, and so I pause us to saying to Joe Biden and everybody, guys, it's very hard for us to be aligned to the one and not the other, or it's very hard to be, to be non-aligned because we're the little guy. So that's what they say. So it's a guys, it's a political minefield. I don't feel sorry for Cyril Ramaphosa at all. I do. I feel very sorry for Cyril Ramaphosa. That's what I meant to say. I don't envy him at all. I wouldn't want to be him because he's got a very, very difficult task ahead of him. Because how do you explain that away when you're going to the G7 or the G20 summit? Okay, and half the people there are pro-Ukrainian, and they look at you and say, "So why are you supporting Russia?" It's like, China has the same problem. Their biggest trading partner is the United States. Okay, India has the same problem because they're aligned to China and Russia and South Africa because of BRICS. Okay, and what do? Because half of the Indian diaspora lives in the United States, and the other half, not quite, but lives in the UK, and the other half, and kind of three halves, lives in Australia and New Zealand. So those are three pro-Western, pro-Ukraine countries. So how do you, it's very difficult. It really is. So this is not an easy assignment. Okay, and you're not going to cover everything. You can't possibly cover everything. So just do what you can. Okay, right, guys. These are your guidelines for question A2. Make your pestle analysis as comprehensive as possible. Okay, so you can use this video to help you further. Guys, in this video, they refer to it as pestle, P-E-S-T-E-L. I prefer pestle because it's an English word, pestle, like pestle and mortar. Okay, but whether you put it, I don't like pesty and I don't like pest. Pest is too short. It's got to be all 6 elements. So do political, economic, social, legal, technological, legal, and environmental. You've got to do all 6 elements. Okay, and it may be very small. There may be no issues that the ANC is focused on in terms of environmental stuff, okay, or legal stuff. Maybe there's nothing, okay, but then you still need to make mention of it. I would advise you. You don't have to. If you don't, I might say, I would have liked to see some legal there. Okay, it's a good, but I'm going to take a % or 2 off because I would like to have seen some legal there. Okay, guys, include multiple sources, integrate these, create effective linking. Very important. Draw conclusions based on sources and make recommendations in your discussion. Okay, create a realistic and comprehensive media plan for the ANC that addresses the complexity of the market and the challenges they as a brand face. Okay, and your plan needs to show how you intend to create integrated media management. Remember, this topic, this subject is integrated media management. So you need to show me that you can integrate your media. Okay, that's really, really important. All right. Let's see if there's any questions so far. All right, no, okay. All right, good. Nobody so far. I hope you can all still hear me, guys. I hope this is all still going fine. The guidelines for A2. Here is an example of part of a good answer. Okay, so you've now worked it all out, and you've done your bits and pieces, and now you come to this conclusion. Thus, the ANC's positioning for the 2024 elections has been decided on as a plea to citizens to help the country, creating an emotional bond between the ANC brand and South Africans' feelings of care and affection for the place brand that is South Africa, a loyal to the soil narrative, so that kind of thing. Okay, which is played out in many different ways. You could also, really talk about that. Okay, to this end, the chosen slogan to accompany all marketing collateral is "Your country needs you." You might say, "Oh, Robert's a bit lame." I didn't want to do too many because I didn't want to steal your ideas. You come up with better ones. Okay, so come up with something better. This harks back to the messaging that John F. Kennedy strategically and cleverly used in the early 1960s when he admonished Americans to ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country. Mendes, 2011, page 78. This is a textbook. This also ties into the theory postulated by Kung. This is fake, guys. This is not a real thing. That slogans should be short and punchy and should serve as a summary of the brand's positioning statement. So go find something in Kung that you can include in your answer. Okay, just to show you. Okay, so guys, this is not flow. This is not. I'm just giving you an overview. These paragraphs wouldn't necessarily lead on from one another like they did in the first question. Okay, so prominent out-of-home media where the slogan will be used includes street pole advertising, which is used extensively in election campaigns. In addition, while the slogan will appear in all media forms, it will also be expanded to inspire copy for the 2-page full-spread newspaper adverts to be taken out in all Sunday newspapers in the week leading up to the election. This is because Dewes, your other guy, 2016-45, actually 2011, notes that traditional media will still carry on prestige with their use, still carry prestige with their use, and any brand that builds a campaign with using large and thus expensive media is perceived as prestigious and prominent. So in this argument, you're basically saying that if a company or a brand can afford to do massive newspaper advertising, massive street pole advertising, massive billboard advertising, and TV adverts and radio adverts, they've got a lot of money. It's impressive. So maybe I should vote for them. Okay. Contrasting this. Sorry. Yes, okay. This could help the ANC brand in the election. Contrasting this, so now you're bringing in the opposing view. Contrasting this, however, is the assertion of Hazel and Darbo, 2022, 269. So this is a textbook, or maybe a journal article. Excuse me. That receivers in communication in the communications chain are generally skeptical of political messages, no matter which medium is used. Okay, so you might say, well, I don't believe the messaging of the ANC, whatever it is. Okay, in terms of political drivers now, guys, I'm just giving you an overview. This is just what I'm looking for in terms of source integration. And this is not even great source integrated. I haven't got as many sources as I should have in here. Okay, but just to show you, in terms of political drivers that are affecting the macro environment in which the ANC functions, the interview of Andre de Ruyter by Annika Larsen, ETV 2023, in which she alleges that the ruling party has used Eskom to steal money, has damaged the ANC's reputation, such that party members have threatened legal action against him. This could see the electorate decide to punish the ANC by either not voting or voting for a different party, which could see their market share fail to recover above the 50% outright majority rule threshold, which would force them into a coalition government. Somebody is trying to say something? Matsitiso's back. Okay, cool. I think she keeps dropping off. Shame. Poor Matsitiso. Sorry, darling. I know exactly how you feel, Matsitiso. Welcome back. I know exactly how you feel. My connection's usually really, really bad with all the load shedding. Okay. All right, so guys. Okay, Zingiswa Dosi's warning to the ruling party to get its affairs in order. Nyati, 2023. So I'm using the source. Is a clear indicator that negative brand rhetoric around the ANC could scupper its chances for electoral victory. And as I said to students, note how I referenced the given assignment article, which is a smart way to add an extra source and also to show that you're integrating your sources. So guys, I would reference all of the source material in my answers. Okay, shame, Matsidiso's really battling. Sorry, Matsidiso. Okay. Guys, I hope you can all still hear me. All right, cool. So here's part of a continued part of an answer for a good example, a good example of part of a good answer. This has already been an issue once before, as reported by Mkhize, who explains that the electorate voted not to vote in the municipal elections because they were frustrated by the economic downturn brought about ostensibly by state capture and the relationship of Jacob Zuma with the Gupta family, who are perceived as being involved in corruption, which was causing people economic hardship. Van Heerden confirms that Zuma's resignation was inevitable because the drop in ANC party support was exacerbated by his leadership of the party and the country. Okay, so guys, that is just an opinion. If you strongly feel that there is no state capture, well, then go prove it with substantiated academic sources, and you can take that thing if you want to. I really don't mind. Okay, I'd like to see your thoughts and your feelings. Okay, in terms of technological drivers, so this is moving on to another driver. This is just to give you examples, guys, of what bits and pieces of the assignment would look like. The ANC would need to focus on the rapidly changing digital environment, which has seen a shift in application usage. For example, Sweeney, 2023, notes that Facebook has been losing market share in Africa, while Instagram, also part of Meta, has been gaining users. Likewise, this dynamic shift has been corroborated by Madonsela, who points out that there has been a swing away from Facebook and YouTube towards TikTok, the first non-Western social medium that has enjoyed enormous popularity. This ties in with the writings of Bettencourt, 2021, XII 12, page 12, who states that Gen Z or Gen Z, the post-millennial demographic grouping, are the so-called digital natives who grew up with technology at their fingertips, and that any attempt to influence their adoption, acceptance, and use of a brand must therefore include a savvy digital marketing strategy using media such as TikTok. For this reason, if the ANC deems that it is important to try and attract this young and potentially influential market, then it will need to woo them with an effective TikTok campaign. Paisley, however, notes that this grouping is far more concerned about the environment than politics, citing the environmental activism of someone like Greta Thunberg as an example. Thus, if the ANC wish to woo such voters, it will need to have a strong green element to their campaign. The danger here with the discourse around going green by the ANC, which it could easily do with a semantic connection to one of its corporate colors, green, is the extent to which it would be believable and credible, which is a key factor in creating brand authenticity. Papenfuss and Labelle, 2015. Okay, so guys, you can see over there, that is the kind of thing. You can see the sources are nicely integrated. You're giving me a good discussion. I can see where you're going. What you're saying to me over here is that the ANC should woo the younger generation and they should use a TikTok campaign to do it. But of course, because you're doing integrated media, if I were advising the ANC, if they came to me today and said to me, help us with our campaign, I'd say to them, what you did in the 2016 election and the 2021 election, I didn't see all that much, but I saw a lot of advertising. There were billboards, there was TV, there was radio, there was online, there were T-shirts given away at rallies, etc., etc., etc. That can all be examples. Let me see if I discussed that further. No, I didn't. Okay, but guys, you can, for example, say, go back and discuss. Okay, you can even say to me, looking at the marketing communications mix, where you have advertising, PR, publicity, promotions, sales, and your direct marketing, which includes all your social media and email campaigns. Okay, go and do a thing in the. I'm almost sure that I've written something about it, but it's not here. I don't think so. Why was I thinking about it? I don't know. Maybe I wrote it and typed over it or something. Okay, but you know what I was thinking is, for example, okay, if you're the ANC and you decide to go into the, I think we were talking about it last week in last week's classes. That's what it was. If you're the ANC and you go and run a promotion, which is a political rally at Orlando Stadium in Soweto, okay, and you've got 50,000 people there, all dressed in a sea of yellow and green, all, you know, waving flags, whatever it is, and you're handing out lunch boxes and that kind of thing. And some people say, well, that's bribery and corruption. That's promotional gifts, okay? And the T-shirts is advertising, because those people are all going to leave and then go shopping at Maponya Mall, and everyone's going to see their ANC T-shirt and remind people of the ANC brand. They might say, well, they're idiots, okay? But the thing is, and unfortunately, this is the horror of the whole thing. You know, if they drive past somebody who's, you know, voting for Action SA, they might just get killed, which is a terrible thing, you know. But the thing is, you get what I'm saying. So those, even a T-shirt, guys, could be included in your media strategy, because a T-shirt is a medium. The medium is the person. They are the person doing the whole thing. Okay. All right. Question B. This is now the last question. So you've got question, you've got A1 and A2. Question B. We'll be taking a break after this. Should be finished in a few minutes. I think everybody's here. Still to check on you guys. Hope this thing is still recording. You see. Oh, it's still recording. Good. Goody gumdrops. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Okay, so guys, question B. Mackey's Mechanics is a family-run business. Old Man Mackey is a traditionalist who believes in old school media like newspapers, TV, and radio. Although their budget is quite small, Mackey still does a bit of local newspaper advertising every second week. And once a year, they splurge on a small radio campaign on a local station with a small footprint in terms of reach and frequency. The company has never tracked the efficacy of their campaigns, and the content is steered by the newspaper and the radio station, which puts their ads together for them as a courtesy to clients. The one thing that Mackey does very well is maintain a good relationship, excuse me, with his existing customers. He started fixing cars in 1980 when he was 20, has built up a solid reputation over 40 years, and has a little black book with the names and phone numbers of his customers. Old Man Mackey has no time for new media. He thinks Facebook and the like is a huge waste of time, doesn't have WhatsApp on his phone, doesn't know anything about email, and thinks TikTok is what an old watch does. By contrast, his 30-year-old son, Brett, is a whiz with social media. He and his wife, Jennifer, see the possibilities of bringing Mackey's into the digital age in a big way. You and Brett are old school friends, and he has decided to use some of the company's money to pay you a retainer to convince the old man to switch to new media and dump the radio and newspaper. However, you know that the best solution is an integrated one that uses both old and new media, and it's just a question of getting the mix right. Okay, so write a proposal to Mackey's in the form of an essay, not longer than 3 pages. I don't think you'll be able to get more than 3 pages, guys, but if it becomes 4 pages, I don't mind. Where you convince both the older generation and the younger one to keep the traditional marketing and also pursue new media marketing. Impress upon the Mackeys the lost opportunity of not using their Black Book database to keep in touch with existing clients who are repeat users of the Mackeys brand. Hint, ensure you draw comparisons between the two, traditional marketing and new media marketing, the overlap between the two, strengths and weaknesses, how they complement each other, and the value and benefit of employing an integrated strategy. So this is for 25 marks. Okay, so guys, guidelines for question B. This question is like a critical pro-con essay about the benefits or drawbacks of old and new media. It's a great question to get you thinking about your subject, which is integrating media for the most effective way to get the message across. Lots to the theory to be applied to this example. Okay, page limits are not really important. If you go over 3 pages, you will not be penalized, please note. Okay, great guys, here's an example of part of a good answer. Leclerc and Donahue state that the line between traditional old media and newer digital media is becoming blurred in the same way that above and below the line has given way to through the line and or lineless marketing. Similarly, both Kung and Hughes state that there's no single solution for a comprehensive marketing campaign in modern times, and that the need to integrate is no longer optional. Moving on from this, Kwaki stipulates that social media and digital media in general are much weaker brand builders than a robust traditional campaign, but that the best way to achieve results is combining media to find the right mixture for the brand. Similarly, Banka states that every campaign must create maximum bang for buck by being accountable, while Resnick notes that brands which are the most successful are the ones that have ongoing marketing campaigns that are tied back to a long-term strategy. In light of this, it would be suggested to Mackeys. So you can see, guys, I'm using third person. I'm not saying I would suggest to Mackeys. You can, but if you don't, that would be great. Okay, it would be suggested to Mackeys that they combo their campaigns for maximum efficiency and efficacy. In addition, Hyatt, Baker, and Service. Please note, guys, I'm quoting 3 sources now. Hyatt, Baker, and Service all note the powerful tool that is email marketing, while all 3 authors putting forth that an email database is one of the most important, one of the most useful weapons in the arsenal of a small business. With all 3 authors putting forth that an email database is one of the most useful weapons in the arsenal of a small business. Now, if you quote 3 sources in a row, I'm going to be very impressed and say, whoa, this person's really, really, really done their homework. Okay. For this reason, before even suggesting an integrated media campaign to both old man Mackie and his son and daughter-in-law, Brett and Jennifer, it would be prudent to sit them down and impress upon them the gold mine of information that they possess in terms of the old man's Black Book. How many of these people would be interested in attending a get-together where Mackie says, "Thank you for 40 years of support. Could this opportunity be used to get cell phone numbers and email addresses to receive a monthly newsletter update? Would there be the need to communicate this with this database monthly? Would there be something to say monthly? Would it be POPI compliant?" Next, perhaps a meeting would need to be arranged with Brett and Jennifer, who are the future of Mackeys. Assuming that Brett is a mechanic and intends to continue running the company, this begs the question, would Mackeys need to be ready for a successful marketing campaign? If an integrated media plan works and there is a new client base that wants to use the brand, can more staff be hired? So guys, that's just as an idea, okay, just to let you know. All right, so this is the end of this lecture. Our next installment, we're looking at branding. We're actually going to go back, guys. We've got to finish the work from last week first, okay, before we continue with the stuff today. But that would be that would be what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so guys, we're going to reconvene again at 2 o'clock. Let's also take a breather because that's a lot of information to process. Go grab yourself a cup of tea, go grab yourself a sandwich, go use the bathroom if you must, whatever it is, and then we'll reconvene again. I'm going to quickly save this recording. So I'm going to stop recording. And I hope the thing saves. Otherwise, I'm going to do this all. I'm going to do it all again tonight anyway, so that's fine. Stop recording. Okay. Hopefully it works. Should record. Stop recording and stop. Okay.